Hello, it's me, Andy, from Blitz Gaming. Hope we're having a great day, getting ready for the weekend. It's a bit chilly in the UK. Okay, new review, motherboard. This one from ASRock. I've never ever purchased an ASRock motherboard in my life, so this is the first. And this is the H610M-HDV /M2 motherboard. Comes in a nice blue box. Comes from some odd features I've never seen before. Or I thought it was out of date, but this one comes with something I've definitely not come across in a long time. So in the box we have one USB. We have a manual. We have one I/O shield. Don't lose. Yeah, only comes with a motherboard. We have SATA connectors. One with a 90 degrees angle. Yeah, only one comes with a 90 degrees angle. Not sure why I didn't do on both. But so we have two bags. Why can't I use one bag of M2 screws? One motherboard with a very thick anti-static bag. Right in there. There it is, all in all its glory. It's a small board, as I did say. It's not big at all. Yeah, it's tiny. I think we got it for around the £85 mark from a scan, around that sort of price. So yeah, so what we got at the top we have the 8-pin power supply for the CPU. Also at the top we have a CPU fan connector, and one in the corner is a system fan connector. Around the side we have a display port, one HDMI, one VGA port, a PS2. We have two blue USB, let's check what they were now, wrote down somewhere, 3.2s. So the blue ones are 3.2, and we've got two black ones are USB 2, with a 1 gig LAN on the top. We have 7.1 surround sound, and the bracket is one microphone, front speakers, back speakers. At the bottom, now I've got to turn it around this way so I can see, we have one audio connector. We have a connector there which is actually not listed in the manual, so I don't know what that's for. it's a 3-pin connector, no idea what it is. Then to the right we have a communication port. Then we have something a bit weird I've not come across. I mean, I might have seen it years ago, but I just completely forgot about it. We have a USB 2 with a 9-pin, and then we have another USB 2 with only 4 pins. As I said, I can't remember ever coming across a 4-pin USB 2 socket. I mean, they obviously exist because I checked it on the net and they do exist, but it's a long time since I've seen one. Next to that we have another system fan header. Then we have next to that we have the BIOS reset jumper. Then in the bottom corner we have the front panel header. So we've got power button, reset switch, system lights, hard drive lights, and speaker. On top of that we have the TPM header. Also at the bottom we have a USB M2, sorry USB, get it together. We have the M2 socket for storage, and on the bottom, on the left hand side, we have another M2 Wi-Fi socket. So that takes the ASRock U2 kit, if I remember rightly, which you can purchase from ASRock or one of their providers. It has PCI Express times 16 version 4 for your graphic card, and PCI Express 3 times 1, 2 sockets at the bottom. So coming up the right hand side, we have 2 SATA ports facing outwards, 2 facing upwards, and according to their web page, if you use the M2, the SATA 3 port it gets disabled. On top of them, we have USB 3.2 header. Then we have the 24-pin power supply socket for the motherboard, and slightly in from that we have 2 DIMM sockets supporting 64 gigs of memory, running at 3,200 megahertz. So this has been this is a basic board. Now when you compare it to the Asus, now they test their memory right up to 5,000 something memory. Now this only goes up to 3,200 megahertz according to the spec sheet. So don't go buying any expensive memory, and it only supports XMP profiles up to version 2. So this is not going to go big time on memory. They're basically just saying it's a budget board, you ain't getting anything out of it. So it comes with 1, 2, 3 system fan headers plus the CPU header, and in the middle we have the heavy duty CPU bracket, which I don't like because I think it's really stiff and it's nasty and it's a bit horrid. Now I don't know if you know, I will put a link up there to Anantech, not to put you off, but I don't know if you've seen, but it's not just on Anantech, some other people have stated it as well. With this bracket, Alderlake CPUs are bending out of shape. Now, I don't know if that's the whole range or just the top end ones where they get really hot and bending out of shape. I don't know, I'm not really read into it too much. But even though there was a company on the net already stated they have a new bracket design to solve the problem, Intel haven't changed their minds yet. They're just saying, no, it's fine. But when it's bending out of shape, when you put your cooler on, the cooler don't sit flat. So your temperatures go a bit doolally. So just to let you know, okay, it's an Alderlake fault. So hopefully they will fix that, and it might be just a rare occasion that you may get. There's the board. It's black. It's got grey stripes going across it. The writing on it is grey, which I'm not quite sure why they make a black motherboard with grey writing, because I find it quite hard to read. Okay, but that's me. I'm getting old. What can I say? It is a 6 power phase design motherboard. At the end of the day, but we'll see how hot it gets. It's got no heat sinks except on the chipset heatsink. There's none for the VRMs at all. So we'll see how hot it gets. We would test it with a 2600K because I certainly wouldn't expect you to put anything over a 2600K on a budget board. I mean, you shouldn't be anyway. I mean, ideally up to 12400, 26, 27, 25. I'd probably expect you to get a decent B series board, talking about £150, £160 board. Then after that, you're talking Z series, really. But we'll see how it goes. I say it's got 1 gig of RAM. If I miss anything else, that's about it really. Except like I said, that is definitely something I've not come across for a long time. If I come across it at all, I mean I've not noticed it for a while. A 4-pin USB header. That could be a bit of a pain. Where it's only got one 9-pin one, because if you're going to fit fans, and if you look at all the controllers all have a 9-pin header, and sometimes I want you to use both. So okay, test setup or rig build. We've got the Intel i5 12600K, the ASRock H610M-HDV/M2 motherboard, and the RX 6600 by power colour. Corsair 16 gigs of 3200 MHz system manual in white. Corner Master MWE 5-watt power supply. One Arctic i35 CPU cooler with Arctic Silver MX5, and we've got the AeroCool PC case with 4 fans. So it should all look nice and glowy when it's finished. Okay, one Alderlake motherboard from ASRock, the H610 HDV/M2. Okay, so again we're going to put the Arctic i35 cooler on this board. So first thing we've got to do is the bracket. So here's the bracket, goes on the back, it goes this way up, so with the profile sticking upwards, and according to the instructions on the net, the screws will go in, they go at the end for the 1700, and if you're going for 1200 they go inwards. Yeah, so it's either inside or right on the corner for the 1700. So we want 1700, so we want to get the 4 screws, bracket, so I said they go on the outside, right on the outside of the profile corner. Then you've got these little rubber O-rings, and they go on. There's a little lip on the bolt. They've got to go underneath, hold it still. So it should look like that at the end of the day. See that okay? So you've got the rubber O-ring, goes under the little the flange there, to hold these in position. That in turn attaches to the motherboard. Like so. Now I've got to check, so I can't remember if it says use the white ones or the black ones for the 1700 socket. Give me a second. Okay, you need the black spacers, the 4 black spacers, the rubbery ones. Yeah, for LGA 1700. They go on like so. Okay, so once you got the bungs on, yeah, so you got the bracket through and the bungs on. Don't put the to the next stage, because we've got to put the CPU in. Oh, see, this is why I don't like this bracket. It's freaking tight and it pings everywhere. before you put your CPU in, you want to make sure that you ain't got no dodgy pins. If you have, RMA it and say you need to give me a new board because you sent me a damaged one. We're okay, no problem. Believe me, they are not solid rock hard things. I had a 1700 motherboard, expensive one. Had it on the side. I thought I'd put it on the side for a bit while I had my dinner, and for some bizarre reason it got pins damaged. I don't know what fell on it or whatever, but some odd reason it was damaged. So yeah, don't forget, when you put the CPU in, you've got two notches at the top and at the bottom, and they're slightly one side. Yeah, right, you can see it on there. Yeah, they've got two notches at the top and bottom. I should do a picture show up, should show you what it look like, and they line up with the orientation in the grid. Make sure it's nicely in. Put this one down. Bring this one back. And then we're in. Then we do the brackets. These brackets go flat side down, yeah, and they profile faces inwards. And don't forget, we've got our screws on the far right outside, so make sure they line up the same on the brackets. Otherwise you find your CPU won't fit, the cooler won't fit. Can be a bit fiddly. There we are. So, you know, I use the iFixit kit for doing my builds. I just find it's got everything in there you need. All comes with magnetic heads. These tools all come with magnetic screwdriver fittings. Make life so much easier. Now there's plenty of other sets out there by other people, and they've all got probably the same sort of setup. Don't forget, when you do these up, do them evenly. Just before you tighten them up, make sure those at the back are flush. So you can see them, make sure they're all flush, sitting properly. And once you've checked, then you can do the last tighten up. Okay, let's get the memory in. It's got those sockets where only one side opens up. Let's push it down one end. In. There we go. Put the memory in now, see if the fan will fit okay. Don't, we'd have to change the orientation around. Right, it comes with a cardboard box thing at the bottom, power. Don't forget to take off the plastic sticker, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. So let's just check will it fit. So there's plenty of room. You can see it there, there's ample room on the memory. At the end of the day, it's a good 5 centimeters, 5 millimeters of clearance. Check where that's going to come over there. We should be okay. I'll push that through there. There's a fan, power supply is on there. MX5. Being this is a non-square CPU, usually I just put a blob in the middle, but being Intel decided to make an oblong shape, we do an X. Now, it looks like I've got to take the fan off, if I like it or not. So I won't be able to undo it otherwise. And we get this fan off. So I'll take the fan off. Make sure you've got a decent size screwdriver when it comes to tighten it up, because you can't get down this edge here, it's difficult. Again, make sure you tighten it up evenly, as otherwise it won't sit flat. Don't try and over tight it, it just comes to a standstill and done. Okay, we put the fan back on. Okay, got the fan back on. Bit fiddly, I have to say. But you basically just push it back, pull the tabs slightly out, one side, push that in, and then the other side, and it should click a position. Attach the fan power, and we're ready to go. So we've got the memory in, again, see the space there, and you know, there's plenty of clearance for this fan. Okay, let's get it in the system. Okay, so we've got the case out, and you can see we've got 4 standoffs in place, and on our motherboard we got 6. So I've got another 2 of these U's, ATX, micro ATX on these U's. So yeah, well done with the screws. Somewhere, screws. So we'll just put these standoffs in. Just in case you don't know what they are, look like they are these little maker spaces. It screws in one end, and you screw another item into the standoff. IO shield or back plate, depends on what you want to call it. Don't need a hammer. If there's a mad video on the net says you need a hammer, you don't need no hammer. Yeah, you just push it in position. So yeah, all you do is push it up and it goes click click. No problem. Okay, let's get her in. Got no wires in the way. Make sure we get it nice and tight against the back plate. Make sure you add all the screws. You won't be happy if it falls out. It's going to cost you a lot of money if you damage it. Okay, board in at the end of the day. We've gone round the back of USB cable, round the back and come through the hole in the front here, then attach to USB 3. The audio cable, gone round the back and come out the bottom. Yeah. Because obviously we don't want as less stuff in there as possible. You know, you want the airflow unrestricted. Now I don't know if you noticed there, this CPU fan, it's very, very close. You're talking about probably a few mils spare, yeah, at the end of the day, to the side of the panel. So yeah, so don't go out and buy a big fan, because you might find it ain't gonna fit. Yeah, it only just fits this one. Not a lot in it at all. I did say there's not a lot of room in this fan, in this case. And yeah, it shows. Right, let's get a power supply. So we use our old trusty Cooler Master MWE 500 watt power supply. Plenty enough for what we put in here. Make sure you go the right way around. So we've got clearance at the end of the day. Now just looking at the hard drive cage, there's no clamps. So I've got to take that out to put the hard drive in, which is a bit lame really. No pull out cages. I'd say yeah, that's a bit naff really. AeroCool, yeah, you're being a bit stingy now. But it's the first case I've come across in a good few years really. Well, it hasn't got cages to take out, quick release cages. Yeah, this is this power supply is only the basic. It's got all the power connectors already connected, so it's not a modular power supply at all. I think it's about £35, something like that. Yeah, if it was a modular one, it'd be double that. But when you're building basic build, at the end of the day, you well, you've got to keep it as basic as possible. As long as it does what you need it to do, that's what matters at the end of the day. It's the only power supply I've actually got which is not modular, fully modular. So yeah, the only bad thing about having a non-modular, you got all these leads, and we're only ever going to use 4. Unless we also, if we put a 6600 in there, it'll be 5, but it'll be it's plenty left over. So let's get the hard drive cage out. Just looking at how does that come out. Okay, so we've threaded the power supply lead on the back, obviously attached to the power supply, and the CPU power supply. Threaded that in the front. That's got to go around there. That's the on-off switches. Yeah, there's no channeling on this case. Like I said, it's only a £60 case, and the fans on their own are £30. So you can say it's a £30 case. Yeah, I've got to admit, I did not like the way the cage is for the hard drive. But there is only one screw. The other screws are like guardrails. Yeah, so you can undo the one in the middle, and you can pull it out. Now I'll just let you know, this back foot of this case fell off. The screws are too short at the end of the day to hold it in position. But I'll tighten it back up. It's all right now. Turn it around so you can see the right side. So we've got the hard drive put in position. Like I said, that unscrew the back one nut, and then you pull it out, whole cage. But you have to screw the hard drive in position on the cage, which is, like I said, 10 years out of date. I mean, not really. It's like AeroCool. Really, you need to get your life in gear. I'm sorry. That's really ancient technology. So, we put the SATA on. So SATA, power supply, it's the thin one, and it goes one way, just in case you're new to building PCs. Goes one way and it lines up again on there for the power supply. SATA cable, data cable, where I put it, made it a second ago, got a runner. Around somewhere. Oh, there it is. It dropped on the floor. Yeah. So again, data cable. Yeah. Again, it goes one way. Don't know if you can see that on there. I should put a bigger picture up on the screen so you can see. Again, goes one way on the fitting. There, and then we'll thread that round down there. So it comes up the front, so we connect it to the motherboard. Yeah, again, there's not a lot of room there. It says it's actually 24mm in the book on the leaflet, but when I measured it, it was about 17. Now these fans, even though they come with a hub, they're proprietary fans. They're not a standard fitting fan fitting. Yeah. So just let you know if you think about, oh, I use these fans somewhere else on another motherboard. It won't work unless you've got the controller. Now you can buy the controller separate. But as I said, this one comes with it, so we'll make use of it. So there's the controller. Yeah. And it comes with a power cable. It comes with an RGB controller, which there's no RGB fittings on this board, so we're a bit out of luck. And what's the other fitting? I've got a standard fitting VDG, so let's plug her up, see how we get on. I won't stick it to the case yet, I've got to figure out where I want to put it. So we've got the controller. It's where we're going to have it. I might have it there, or I might move it around. I won't stick it on the case at this time. I'll work something out a bit later. But you got these two prongs at the end there. They are for, if I remember rightly, plus 5 volt RGBs. If you've got any other RGBs, third party RGBs. Again, some more RGBs there, third party RGBs. And then we got, if you want to get 2 more fans from AeroCool, you can plug those in there. This one here is for the reset button. So I've got to bring the reset button back here, plug it into there. Now we don't plug these into the USB. It's a bit different from the others I've had, from Corsair and Liani, where they use USB. Where you plug into your motherboard and you can use the motherboard software, if you want to do it that way. But this comes with an option. Comes with 2 controllers where you can fit to your motherboard for MSI, Asus and Gigabyte. Now we don't have any of those boards because we're using ASRock, so that is no longer required for us. But we do have this one, which attaches to a to the motherboard fan. So we'll bung that through there. And connect that up. And this one we just obviously wrap one there. We'll get a cable tie. I'll use cable ties that come with everything else. Tie that up out of the way. As I said, problem when you decide to have lots of RGB fans, you have a lot of wiring to play around with. So we have that main wire coming down the side there for the CPU, plugged into the CPU, and then the main one coming up there for main power for the board. We've got reset button. Where's reset? Reset button, we switch. So that goes on there. And the only problem with having that on there, we'll have to split all these wires up, which I don't want to do on the main cable. I ain't splitting them up, so I'm going to leave that like that, see if it still works. Basically, I think that's going to turn the fans on and off. Basically, when you want them on, well, we're going to just leave them on. I'm not going to break up this wire. Put a reset switch there. I'm quite sure the idea behind that is from AeroCool. We'll just see. Right, we'll thread that through there. I've got no reason to come back here. Set as on. That's on position. I'll put the back panel back on. Like so. screws on. Now you can guarantee now I'm going to tighten it up. I'll probably have to go back. So we need a fan connector. It don't matter which one you use. If we try and get one down the side, and we've got one there at the bottom. So if we now remove this wire again, there we are. Attach that to that system fan header. Should be fine. Get the setter. Go in there like so. And we can get these lovely set of switches. So you got basically plus and minus in the corner, power button. On the bottom left you have hard drive lights, then next to that reset switch. Yeah, so they go left to right. Yeah, not downwards, they go left to right. Okay, you know one thing I forgot to put in, should have done earlier, got to put the M2 in. Does help having an operating system, doesn't it? So might adjust a few of these leads before we close her up. Well, let's get the M2. Okay, so when you put the M2 in, you always put it in at an angle, it's in a socket, and you push it down at the end of the day. Now this has already got a standoff underneath. Screw out the screw. Goes in like so. Simple really, can't go wrong. You see that okay? I need to zoom in a little bit. So yeah, so M2 in the socket straight. Now just to let you know, when you buy an M2, they do come different lengths. So don't just assume that, okay, I need that one. Now on desktops, 99% of the time they are this length, which I think is 280 on this one. Could be one, might be a 260, not bad looking. But basically desktop ones are more or less all the same, but if you buy a laptop ones are usually shorter. Now on a desktop you can use the shorter ones, they actually have you can actually move the stand off underneath. Yeah, it's only if you've got laptops where they basically, you might find out, why don't this fit in my laptop? So yeah, make sure you read up first before buying your M2. Okay, I think we're ready to go. I'll just tighten these leads up and we'll turn it on and see how it works. If it works. Hope it works. I never added a GPU this time. I just thought I'd make use of the built-in IGP. So let's take a look at some quick photos of the inside and the outside. Okay, that's me done. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe.